Kara's hands trembled and she nervously wrung them as she waited for you and the rest of the Super Friends to show up. Game night was a big deal, and no one ever missed unless things were going horribly wrong. So all she had to do right now was wait. It was unusual for her to be so nervous about something as simple as game night, but tonight was special. Well, maybe special. It might be a total disaster. She didn't really know, but she prayed that everything worked out in her favor, because if it blew up in her face, she'd be heartbroken. Tonight was going to be the night she admitted she had feelings for you. She was going to wait for the games to end and the others to leave. You were always the last to go, always volunteering to stay and help clean up. And then she was, hopefully, going to sit you down and tell you how she felt. It was a scary thing to do, but she was determined to get it all out in the open. The first knock on the door had her moving at an inhumane speed. You were the only one who ever knocked, stating every time she said something that you didn't just want to barge in. "It's rude, Kara," you would laugh. "I get why Alex can do it, but I'm not Alex." She threw the door wide, and you jumped back, startled by her sudden presence. Your fist was still raised to knock, but it fell to your side. "Hi," Kara greeted shyly, biting her lip as she looked you over. "Hey," you smiled, walking up to the superhero and wrapping your arms around her waist. You hugged her briefly, and it left Kara wanting to pout. She wished you would have held on longer. "How was work, Miss Pulitzer winner?" you asked, stepping into the threshold of her apartment. Kara beamed, padding after you. "It was great. I met an alien who runs an animal shelter and donates so much money to other non-kill shelters to help them stay in business. She's so sweet and her animals were so cute. I almost adopted a cat, but my landlord would have killed me." Your chest warmed at the sight of Kara's innocent expression and the admiration in her eyes. You adored her and her genuineness. She was too good for Earth, but God, you were so glad to have met her. "I'm glad," you replied honestly. "Maybe you could take me to the shelter sometime and show me around. I've been wanting to get a pet, and my landlord doesn't care. You could help me pick out one, and, of course, you'd be able to come and see them whenever." Kara paused. Not only did this sound like a date, but the idea of sharing a pet with you made her heart pounding her chest. Maybe tonight wouldn't go badly after all. "That sounds great," Kara squeaked, her cheeks going crimson. You didn't understand Kara's blush, but you found it precious all the same. "How was things in the lab?" Kara inquired, rubbing her hands over her cheeks to will the blood away. You were Lena's lead scientist at Elcor, and honestly you loved your job. You were in charge of projects and helping the other scientists if they slammed into a metal wall. It was the best job you could think of, and you wouldn't change it for the world. Plus it had brought you some wonderful friends whom you wouldn't trade for anything. "Oh, things are going. A couple of the guys are stuck on this formula, and I've been trying to help them, but we're all a little confused, it seems." Kara chewed her lip. "Next time you're free, you could bring it by, and I might be able to help. I was supposed to go into the Science Guild on Krypton, and your science on Earth isn't really advanced, so maybe I could help solve your mystery." Grinning, you threw your arms around Kara and squeezed. "Thank you. It's been days, and we're still lost," you admitted. Kara relished your arms around her, and the way your scent lingered, even as you let go. "You're welcome. You know I'd do anything for you," she said thoughtlessly, her eyes widening the moment she realized what she said. Your brow arched at the admittance, but before you could say anything, the door flew open and Alex announced herself loudly. Kelly not too far behind, shaking her head. You waved at the newcomers and took the beer from Alex's arm, snagging a bottle as you set the box on the counter. You cracked it open and sipped, eyeing Kara as she grabbed Alex's wrist and tugged her towards her bedroom, leaving you and Kelly bewildered. "Do you know what that was about?" Kelly wondered. "No idea," you shrugged. "What do you mean you're telling her how you feel? How do you feel?" Alex questioned, confusion shining in her eyes. I think I'm in love with her, Kara whispered, her arms wrapped around her waist. Alex was stunned. She prided herself on knowing Kara, but she obviously missed something. You love her? Nodding, Kara stared imploringly at Alex. She was silently begging her to understand. Come here, Alex beckoned Kara over and embraced her, rubbing her little sister's back. I'm proud of you for admitting it. I'm sorry I didn't pay more attention. She is great, and you two would make the cutest couple. Well, second to Kelly and me, but still, Alex teased, with a watery laugh. Kara nodded. I hope it all works out. I'm so nervous, she mumbled. It will, Alex said confidently. She would be stupid not to feel the same, and we both know she is not stupid. Kara heard the door open and the rest of the group pouring into her apartment. She let go of Alex and wiped the tears that gathered in her eyes away. Well, everyone's here. Then let's go party. Alex grinned, leading Kara from the bedroom and back into the living room. Kara found you chatting with Brainy and Nia, discussing Dreamer's latest heroics. You were always so intrigued by the notion of heroes, and knowing two of them just made you wish you were one. It also made you worry. A lot. These heroes were your friends. You wanted them safe. Lena and James were standing in the corner, their breakup still fresh, though it was obvious they were trying to work out their problems so that it wouldn't affect the dynamic of the group. Kelly was nearby, secretly listening to the former couple talk. She couldn't help it. James was her brother and Lena was her friend. As Kara joined you, your arm instinctively came around her, and you hugged her momentarily before looking at her. You okay? Kara nodded, her palms sweating and heart racing. Yeah, I'm fine, she smiled, hoping to hide her nerves. What do you think we should play first? Not Monopoly, John piped up from the kitchen, a drink in his hand. I refuse to play that again with Lena. Hearing her name, Lena's head snapped around, and she playfully glared at John. You just don't want to lose again. You're right, John agreed with a smug. Sniggering silently, you and Nia shared a look. I think we should play Scrabble, Nia suggested. You nodded. Definitely. In a room full of brilliant people, Scrabble was such an interesting endeavor, considering there were 3 scientists, a former DEO director, 3 journalists, a psychiatrist, and a brainiac from a different time. The board was always full of strange words that would have left most people scratching their heads. We should do teams, you gasped. Do you know how cool that would be? I call Nia, Brainy announced immediately, touching his girlfriend's arm. Kelly, Alex shouted, wildly gesturing for the woman to join her on her chair. Smirking, you latched onto Kara's bicep, batting your eyes at her. Want to be my partner? Swallowing dryly, Kara nodded. Sounds like fun, she murmured, almost breathlessly. She wanted to be your partner in more ways than one, but this was a good start. I call Jean, Lena said from across the room, stepping away from her ex. I believe we could have a spectacular partnership. She winked at the older man and he chuckled, accepting the offer with a raise of his cup. James sighed. I guess I'm on my own, he muttered irritably, though he couldn't blame Lena for ditching him. Kara hurriedly set up the game, ignoring the shake of her hands as she put out the pieces. Kelly, ever observant, noticed that Alex's quick jerk of the head kept her from asking. You settled on the couch, waiting for your partner to join you, and watched the others pair up. Tonight was going to be awesome. No one was surprised that you and Kara won, or that Lena and Jean came in second. Both your vocabularies were spectacular, and it made sense that you two would conjure such words out of nothingness. None of you, however, had realized how late it had gotten. The game had lasted way longer than you'd anticipated, and now the others were planning to leave. Lena first, since she had been up so early, though James and John went far behind. Are you sure you don't need any help? Nia asked, staring at the empty chip bowls and drinks scattered about. Don't worry, Nia, we've got this, you assured her, gathering up some of the bottles near you. Nodding, Nia hugged Kara before dragging Brainy out of the apartment. Alex lingered by the door, her hand clasped in Kelly's. I'll see you tomorrow for breakfast, right? Kara hesitated, and Alex amended her question. I'll see you unless something comes up? Nodding firmly, Kara waved at her sister before the door slammed closed behind her. The apartment was silent, yet it wasn't uncomfortable. You and Kara simply worked around each other. You knew Kara could do this by herself in seconds, but she never rebuffed your help, so you always stayed. You didn't mind, though. Spending time with Kara was your favorite part of any day. Once things were finally in place, and the trash was tossed, you peered at the door. I guess I should be going, you remarked, a little sad to leave this wonderful woman's presence. Actually, can you stay for a minute? I was hoping we could talk. I mean, if you can't, that's okay. You might have plans or something, and I didn't think about that. Kara would have continued rambling on, but you grabbed her hand, and leading her towards the couch, stopped her, word vomit. Is everything okay? You asked, concerned by the terror swirling in ocean eyes. You seemed a little off all night. Kara stared at your connected hands, the words dying on her tongue, as she reveled in your warmth. She had so much she wanted to say, yet she couldn't get it out. Usually, if she was scared or anxious, she wouldn't shut up, but in this moment, she had no idea what to say. Kara? You prompted, slowly pulling your hand away. Before you could fully inch back, her hand was in yours again, fingers tangled together as she struggled to find the right thing to say. Seeing her in such turmoil, you stayed quiet, your thumb stroking the back of her hand comfortingly as you waited. It was obvious something of importance was bothering her. You just didn't know what. Kara inhaled sharply, the dam holding her back, finally breaking as words spilled forth. I think I have feelings for you. Wait, she shook her head, panic in her voice. I know I have feelings for you. You're my favorite person. When your name shows up on my phone, my heart feels like a hummingbird got trapped. And when I see you, I feel like I'm flying. And I know what this feels like. You're my favorite partner at game night. And when you leave, you take a part of me with you. I think you're so beautiful and smart and funny and sweet. And I don't want to spend time with anyone as much as I want to spend time with you. She trailed off, your stunned expression terrifying her. Kara, you didn't know what to say, completely blown away by her admissions. Look, I feel things when I'm with you, and it's new and scary, but I think I like it because I like you. I think I'm in love with you, and it's okay if you don't feel the same way, but you threw yourself at the superhero, catching her by surprise. Slamming into her felt like hitting a soft, fleshed, steel-muscled brick wall. But you didn't care. All you wanted was Kara's lips on yours. Now. A noise of surprise escaped Kara when your mouth crashed into hers, her arms encircling your waist. When she realized what was happening, Kara's eyes slipped closed and she reciprocated the affection presented eagerly. Her lips moving against yours as you poured everything into it. You didn't know if you could call this love, not yet, but you cared about Kara in a way that was definitely not platonic. You often fantasized about kissing Kara late at night when no one was around, but you'd never wanted your affections to get in the way of your friendship, so you had tried burying them. Maybe you should have said something after all. I like you too, you whispered between the brushing of your lips. Blood rushed to Kara's head, and a dopey grin tugged at the edges of pillow-soft flesh. You nodded, your forehead against hers. Really, really? Oh, Kara breathed, unable to form a coherent thought. You giggled, pressing a kiss to Kara's reddened cheek. That's good, she nodded, her head bobbing awkwardly. Smiling, you leaned back, staring into those eyes you could stare into for days. How about we get breakfast in the morning, just you and me? Kara nodded enthusiastically, already planning an apology text to Alex in her head. She looked so adorable that you couldn't help kissing her again and again and again. By the fourth parting of your lips, you noticed you'd somehow managed to end up on Kara's lap, your legs on either side of her on the couch. Kara's strong hands gripped your waist, her chest heaving despite not really needing that much oxygen. She was staring at you like you held the moon and the stars in your hand. And it was so empowering, yet so humbling. "Stay the night," Kara requested imploringly. "Please, nothing has to happen. I just want to cuddle." You smiled. "You're so cute," you cooed, undoing her ponytail so that you could run your fingers through her blonde locks. "Cuddle sounds good." "Yay!" Kara swept you up into her arms, earning a squeal of surprise as your legs wrapped around her torso and your hands flew to her neck. Love was a big word, one you couldn't say yet, but it wouldn't take long. Love never does.